Mary Orvis Marberry wonders why this fly is called a deer fly. It does not use deer hair, nor does it imitate a deer fly. I am tying this fly from the illustration in Mary Orvis Marberry's book, Favorite Flies and Their Histories, published in 1892, and a photo of the actual fly that she tied for her book. I'm using red thread because the head on the fly is red. I'm using a number 8 sprout hook. The fly has a gold tag, so I'm tying in some small gold tinsel. I'm tying it with the gold side towards the hook. It is a bicolor tinsel. So the gold side towards the hook, and then as I wrap it, I flip it, and it naturally flips that way to wrap. And then I will wrap down around the bend of the hook a little ways. The reason I use a small tinsel is because it lays flatter down around the bend. I'll get down about as far as I want there to be a tag, and then I'll bring that tinsel back up to the tie-in point. So if I had taken my thread out of my way a little bit more, it'd give me some space to work. I'll bring the tinsel or the thread back up to where the tinsel is tied in and wrap over the top of that tinsel. I'm just wrapping over the top of it. I don't need to go underneath of it. It lays flat. I'm using some black hackle barbs for the tail. Just pinch off a few. I'll lay those on the hook. It's not a long tail. See if I can get them to bend up. Catch those in back here at the back of the body. And then I'm going to wrap over those barb ends all the way up to where I will eventually tie in the hackle and the wing. I'll clip out the butt ends, and what I'm doing is building some bulk on the body. I will add to that with some more thread wrapped back down to the tail, where I will tie in some green floss. And I am tying the floss in at the tail. Because I'm going to do a double wrap of floss. So I want that floss to wrap from the eye of the hook to the tail and then back up to the eye of the hook. Just need to keep it out of the way as I wrap forward. Again, I'm stopping where I will tie in the hackle. I don't know what the weight of this particular floss is. It doesn't really matter, I suppose, just as long as it isn't too fine. This is actually some beading thread, but it's the right color for this fly. So Mary did conclude that this green-bodied white fly is called a deer fly. That's what it was called, and so she kind of just says, that's what I'm going to call it, because that's what it's called, even though it doesn't really make any sense, since it doesn't have deer hair, nor does it imitate a deer fly. but sometimes just the usage creates the name, and that's what happened with this fly. So a green floss body, I'll catch that off, 3 wraps over the top, and then pull back on the thread and wrap tight underneath of it with 3 wraps. That will secure it. Then I can clip out the extra. I debated what to use for the hackle on this fly, and I'm going to use, I believe this is a rooster neck. Going to give it a crew cut. That's just cutting the barbs at the stem end, the butt end, short. That gives me something to tie it in with. And I'll wrap back. I want plenty of room for the wing as well here. And I did tie it with the shiny side out. Hopefully that will help those barbs lay back. And it's neither in the illustration or the actual fly is it a real full hackle. So I'll go ahead and catch the stem in, or the rachis, and then I'll pull back on everything and wrap up, if I can get it thread to stay, wrap up over that stem and all the barbs. That will help them lean backwards, kind of in the style that Mary tied. Snap that out. I have 2 duck quill slips that I'm going to tie in for the wing. Not any longer than the bend of the hook, laying up between the top hackle. I will pinch those 2 slips between my finger and thumb, then take my thread up and pinch the thread, and then go down underneath and cinch up to tie that in, and then wrap over that and wrap back towards the body to keep the eye clean. Try not to wrap in any hackle fibers. Keep that wing standing up if I can. Then I will clip out the butt ends, and I am very close to the eye here, maybe even a little bit over it, but I think we'll be all right. I'll go and bring my thread right up to the end of the beginning of the eye, the end of the eye, the beginning of the shank, and then wrap up over that head some more to create that red head. Mary's flies had fairly large heads because she used hooks that didn't have eyes, and she would tie in a material called gut. And it was the innards, the silk material, but it was taken out of the gland prior to the caterpillar spinning. So the caterpillars were sacrificed, dissected, and the gut material was taken out, the silk material, taken out of the gland, stretched and twisted together, and that is what they called gut, and that was wrapped onto the hook before anything else. Either a eye made with that or a leader with an eye on it. In my contemporary twist, I'm going to put a drop of diluted head cement on the head of the fly. That will soak in and dry clear. And then to make sure that the eye of my hook is clean, I will pass a hackle feather through it, and the deer fly will be ready for a tippet.